Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a while since I've been able to step into this game because I was trying to finish up Xenoblade in a hurry and ended up getting stonewalled near the end. So my feeling is, if that's being the more tedious thing right now, I've got plenty of footage to keep videos going up on the channel, so I'm gonna jump back into Fire Emblem because this is what I really care about at the moment. So, with that in mind, I've done pretty much everything that is required of me leading up to the next important battle, but that is not what we're going to focus on just yet, because as you can probably tell,
make sure you're ready.
There's quite a few support conversations we have to get through, and why is my computer acting up? I don't know, it's being slow on my end, but that's probably just because I'm rendering something at the in the background. English, can I speak it? As you can tell, it's been a while. So, my thinking is, we're just going to go through all of these, and then next time, we'll actually move on with the story. So, what's on the docket? Oh wow, really that close? Wow. To think that's one of the last that I need for Shez as well. That's kind of painful, actually. Either way, let's see to what we can. Although knowing my luck, it's probably locked until chapter 12.
Hey, Rodrigue, you got a sec?
What's the matter? You look troubled.
Well, we ended up spending most of this winter out on the battlefield. So, I was thinking, if we put an end to the war before next winter rolls around, maybe we could all go back north and...
And? Speak plainly.
I want to have a snowball fight.
Hmm?
Dimitri said that's how all the kids in Fargus played during the winter.
It's the what? Why is that your first thought?
I figured it'd be good to try at least once, now that I'm living here in the kingdom.
Yes, a fine idea. The sport's rather profound, if I do say so myself.
And you're perfectly okay with this? What? Okay then.
Dividing into factions and formulating strategies makes it just as much a battle of minds as it does one of hurled snow.
I have questions.
Hold on, strategy? This sounds kinda intense for a kid's game.
You're not exactly a kid anymore.
It is. When we were still in the throes of our youth, Lambert, Matthias, and I faced off in such a contest. With our squires in tow, we traveled to the northern mountains to do battle.
What?
Hey, that sounds like fun. So, what happened?
I was the first to fall. I hid in the shadows, biding my time and observing the enemy's movements until the moment was right to strike. And yet, such an opportunity never came. While his subordinates fought freely in the open, His Majesty launched a surprise attack on my position.
What am I listening to?
Unfortunately, my men and I were unable to land even a single blow on him. Our defeat was a matter of course.
How do you not land a hit in a snowball fight? How does that even work? He's not that... Look, the crest of blade that gives you immense strength, not immense dexterity.
Now I know where Dimitri gets his tendency to rush into battle alone. Like father, like son, huh?
Indeed. Still, it's difficult to feel wronged when you've been defeated in such a swift and skillful manner. My downfall left only Lambert and the Margrave, a man notorious for his rotten character even as a child. His strategy was not to attack outright, but to prepare an ambush for His Majesty in one of the more densely wooded groves.
This is what I'm listening to. What? Why? What?
Seriously? All that for just a snowball fight? No wonder Sylvain is so cunning. Anyway, what happened next?
Is this really just a matter of, okay, like father, like son? Is that all that there is to this?
We were all familiar with Matthias's ignoble tactics, so His Majesty was careful to avoid the cowardly ambush which had been laid for him. At last, just as the opposing generals were staring each other down, Gunnar, the current Count Galatea and noble, many years our senior, emerged from the wood to put a stop to it. In the end, our final showdown that day was between his hands and the scruffs of our necks. All while our ears rang with his dire warnings about the mountains.
Oh, that's lame. Come on, I wanted to hear who won.
That sounds like Ingrid's dad, all right. Guess that means nobody won, huh?
They all won the moral victory except Count Galatea.
Yes, the story dates back several decades, but I still remember it as if we were trudging through the snow only yesterday. Say, if you do end up mustering an army for one of these snowball battles, I would be honored to observe.
Why?
Why don't you join us? As one of the combatants, I mean. I'm sure Dimitri and the Margrave won't mind. You won't be facing the same opponents, but maybe then you'll finally settle the score. For old time's sake.
A sound point. Very well. I'd be thrilled to partake when the time comes. You know, of late I've been dreading the coming winter, but now I feel I may actually look forward to it.
Because of a singular snowball fight? I really wish I had that A support unlocked now. Holy crap, what is this game? Although we're about to get some super serious stuff, so let's see if this one's any sillier.
What a pain.
What's this about?
Everything all right, Catherine? Thought I saw Count Karen a second ago.
Oh, that would be why.
Yes, I just had to talk to my father about something. He wanted to request some of the church's soldiers as reinforcements, but I don't have the authority to make that decision. For the life of me, I can't understand why he'd come to me for something that only Lady Rhea or Dimitri could help him with.
You may have been banished, but you're still technically family. Well, by blood, if not by declaration.
Whoa, wait. Count Karen is your dad?
Yes. Huh. I could have sworn you knew. Well, I guess you do now. I am, in fact, the daughter of Count Karen of Fargus.
I had no idea. Though, now that you mention it, you do bear their crest.
Things are complicated with my family, to say the least. But basically, I'm keeping my distance from House Karen for the time being. Right now, I am Catherine, Knight of Saros. No connection to any house or the kingdom.
I see. So you intend to keep serving the church going forward? But what do you think you would do if the church and kingdom broke their alliance?
A foolish question. Obviously, I would side with Lady Rhea.
As expected.
It's not a matter of kingdom or church. My allegiance and my sword lies with Lady Rhea and her alone. Though, of course, I would prefer not to fight my friends and family from back home. So it would be ideal for me if the kingdom and church could play nice forever.
Given the circumstances, I don't see why that wouldn't happen.
The Archbishop's personal sword, huh? You've got one heavy blade.
What about you? What are you fighting for here? Or is it one of those, I just tripped and fell into it kind of stories?
I've got a score to settle with someone. Figure I got a better chance of fighting them again if I'm here.
Oh yeah? Must be a formidable opponent, judging by that look on your face.
Aside from that, you might be right. Maybe my coming to Fargus was pure chance.
It kinda was.
A civil war broke out in the capital right after I joined the Officers' Academy. By the time things died down, Rhea decided to close the school. That's when Dimitri put me in my current role.
Sounds like you've had a rough go of things too. But you're commanding kingdom troops now, right? That's a pretty good step up. I say that as long as you're living life in a way that would make your past self proud, that's enough.
Make my past self proud, huh?
Easier said than done, I know. But it can't hurt to try, right?
I'm not sure what his past self would want him to try, though.
Just keep challenging yourself. You'll get there eventually.
Curious that. Alrighty, I was expecting something more lighthearted, but you know what? That's quite alright. Let's see to this first. What is you sighing?
Hey, Sedith. What are you staring off into space for?
Oh, it is you. I was just reflecting on the monastery.
Yeah, it's that way, isn't it? In the mountains?
Correct? So close, yet still beyond our reach.
Can't say I ever learned much about it when I was there, but I know it's important to the church.
Yes. It serves as the headquarters of our order. Many saints have been laid to rest there as well. As a sacred ground, Garreg-Mach Monastery is irreplaceable. It is also a place that Flayn and I hold dear to our hearts.
So your sister feels that way too?
Due to our circumstances, Flayn and I traveled around Fodlan as nomads for a very long time.
I feel like you're well, no, you wouldn't give him the truth anyway.
When we accepted the Archbishop's gracious invitation, I thought we had finally found our safe haven. That it would be taken from us so easily is almost too much to bear.
Well, that's all the more reason to take it back then. I'll do whatever I can to make that happen. Oh, I mean, while staying away from the Archbishop, of course.
You must forgive me for saying what I did back then. My position required I do so. I do not personally believe, however, that any evil resides within you. Whatever the true nature of your power, I trust you wield it with a righteous heart.
Now there's the Seteth I know.
So you finally trust me. I'm sure glad to hear that.
Indeed. I am truly grateful to have you as an ally. I know I have no right to say this after regarding you with such suspicion, but we need you. I pray you will continue to lend us your strength, not only for the Church, but for the future of Fodlan itself.
You can count on me, Seteth.
Alright, relatively straightforward. Does that mean I can talk with Flame now? Not that stopped me before. I'm sure he was watching when I did an expedition with her.
So it's just no? Not under any circumstances?
Oh boy, what's this?
It is not up for debate. This is for your own good, Flame.
What's that about?
You okay, Flame? Why the long face?
My brother has seen fit to forbid me from going out entirely.
That doesn't sound unusual for him. But as long as he doesn't know, what's the harm, right?
A fair point, but my brother truly is concerned for my safety. Perhaps...
It does seem like the Church has enemies all over the place these days. So, I don't know, I think I get where he's coming from.
As you know, my brother and I have lived in remote and secluded places for a very long time. All we had was each other. Then we went to Garrick Mach and suddenly we were surrounded by all these people. I had hoped to make many friends and listen to their countless tales of all the places I hadn't been. But before I got to really know the people at the Officers' Academy...
Shut down.
Everything went all topsy-turvy and the Academy had to shut down.
Do you remember when we went into town together to look at the latest fashions?
Did Seteth hear about it?
That was so much fun. I was looking forward to going shopping together again, but perhaps I should just let the whole thing go.
Oh, Flame. Don't give up so easily. We're just talking about a little outing here.
Even that would prove tremendously difficult for me. With the Church thrown into such chaos, my brother is in a near constant state of agitation.
Guess we gotta win the war then.
I must not trouble him further by making him worry about me as well.
You're very kind to your brother, Flame. Just remember, it won't always be like this.
You think so?
Absolutely. Wars can't last forever, right? When this war ends and peace returns to Fodlan, taking a shopping trip will be no big deal.
If that is so, then would you be willing to go into town with me again when that day comes?
Uh-oh. Run now, before Seteth turns around and sees you talking to her.
Of course. I'd be happy to keep you company. Or were you keeping me company? I forgot.
With that to look forward to, it should be no trouble to summon a little patience. Although...
Also ignore my printer in the background. If it does come through the recording. My gosh, why do you always do this?
What is it?
I'm not sure my brother will permit me to go somewhere with a man. Even when the war is over.
Uh-huh.
If you tried to hide it and he found out later, it would be...
disastrous. That is correct. Are you ready for that?
Looks like I'll have to be. After all, it's a little late to start worrying about that now.
Pretty much. No freaking pressure. I wonder if that little tidbit wouldn't be there if I had chosen female chefs. Hard to probably. Probably. Okay. Well, these two very different supports right here. I'll be very curious to see how they play out. Surprised they haven't unlocked this one sooner, though.
Do you have a moment, Rodrigue? There's something I'd like to ask you.
Anything for you, Your Majesty. What is it?
I want to hear your side of the story.
Of which story exactly?
How did you feel when you learned of my father's death? I've struggled to ask this before, but I want to know.
So that's what you mean. Honestly, I had a difficult time believing it at first. But as moons passed, I gradually grew to accept the reality of it.
Give me a second. Okay, there we go. Plugged in. Should be good.
And of course, I recalled the promise I'd made him, and vowed to myself that I would carry it out.
I wonder then, had I died alongside my father in Glen and Dusker, what would you have done?
Good question.
You know, a fleeting thought flashes across my mind every time I see you reflect upon my father. It feels as though you aspired not just to stand beside him in life, but to meet death with him as well.
Don't overthink it, Your Majesty. I'm a pretty stubborn guy, you know.
Uh-huh.
No, I didn't wish for my own death when Lambert passed. But sometimes I think that if I have to die to honor my promise to him, I would be satisfied with that.
I won't allow you to throw your life away, Rodrigue. I'll not have you stolen from me by that promise.
Unfortunately, in another time, that you won't have that choice.
Losing you would be almost like losing my father for a second time. If you were to die because of me, it would destroy me.
You may say that, but a subject lives by the example their king sets for them. And I know well enough that you don't value your life either.
I wondered if anyone would call him on that besides just Felix.
So if you'd like me to place more importance on my life, I urge you to do the same, Your Majesty.
You're right. I have no excuse.
No, I should apologize. That came out rather more harsh than I intended. You sounded so much like Lambert just now, I simply couldn't hold myself back. In truth, that's something I've wished I could have said to him for a long time now. Yet, you were the one who had to bear the brunt of it. I suppose I can hardly poke fun at Matthias for holding on to that sword all those years, can I?
Oh boy.
I sounded like my father?
Indeed you did. Remember the story of the sword? About how I got stuck behind enemy lines like a fool? Well, the first thing Lambert said after he broke through their forces was, "Don't throw your life away like that." Not that it was too convincing coming from a guy covered in cuts and scrapes.
I can't imagine. It sounds as though you two were very close. I envy him for having such strong bonds with his friends.
Don't let my son catch you saying that. Pretty sure he'd take offense.
He'd take offense to this entire conversation. There's no point worrying about it.
Anyway, that's enough reminiscing for one day. How about you try squeezing some memories out of Matthias next time?
Good luck seeing him.
A fine idea. Perhaps I'll invite Sylvain and the others to join in as well.
Yeah, that could be fun. I doubt we'd see too much of that, but still. Although, to be fair, we're coming to the end of a lot of this. Well, there aren't that many left. So, how's this one gonna wrap up?
Why do I feel someone watching me?
Because someone is watching you?
Hello, Bernadetta.
Somebody!
Of course.
Stop. I am not a ghost, and I am not here to scold you. I'm just here to get food because I'm hungry. I was stuck inside all day with work and missed my chance for dinner.
Help! Oh, so you're just like me then.
What?
It's rather difficult being shut inside all the time. I always lose track of the hour.
Yeah, same. But how'd you know I was inside all day today? Oh no. Was this work of yours spying on me?
Of course that's the conclusion you jumped to.
No. If I had time to spy on people, there wouldn't be piles of documents teetering atop my desk.
Yeesh. That sounds rough. Wait, hold up. Why are you taking all those raw veggies and that dried meat?
Because it's my dinner? Which I missed? I thought I made all of this clear.
The way you... Oh, the acting on that was glorious. Oh man, I know things that... I mean, the fact that you don't have it as a sense of taste anymore? Oh man, Bernie's probably looking at you and thinking, what, you eat this stuff?
What? So you're gonna eat them just like that? Not that there's any problem with that.
Well then, Bernadetta, perhaps we could cook something together.
Oh no.
Cook?
Yes. You have a bit of talent in the kitchen, right? Maybe you can take this chance to teach me.
Sure, I guess. I mean, if you're gonna insist, then I'll show you just how good I am.
I'm surprised you're up for this.
I think I heard you like this cheese and spice. The bag!
I have questions.
All right, that should do it. What's the matter, Bernadetta? You seem to be shrinking away.
I can't do it. I can't cook in front of a stranger.
I hardly think we're strangers at this point, but regardless, it looks fine to me. There's no need for you to be so distraught.
It's not fine! The spice bag ripped and they all fell in, and then I got so flustered I dropped an entire wheel of cheese in there!
Oh, that would throw things off a bit. An entire wheel. How do you do that?
It smells terrible, and I mean really terrible. There's no possible way it's going to taste good!
But this is the Dimitri we're talking about, so we don't care.
What? Okay, if you force yourself to eat that, you're going to be sick for days.
I'm not forcing myself to do anything. It would be a shame to waste food we made together.
So it's not gross? You don't feel sick or anything? Well, I guess I could try it then. So disgusting! How did you even eat it?
Because he doesn't have a sense of taste. Is he actually gonna say that point blank?
Oh wait, don't tell me. You're eating it as an excuse to say, I hereby sentence you to death for feeding me horrible food!
Why are you like this?
Do you honestly believe I wander about executing people at will for the smallest transgressions?
I don't know, what stories do they tell of you? I mean, you have spent the last 2.5 years purging people for being traitors, so, I could see stories floating about, especially since Bernie doesn't get out.
No! I don't want to die! Let me live!
Of course.
Too much cheese and spice, is it? I suppose I'll bring her something else for dinner, since she only had one bite of this.
Oh boy. That was a thing? That was definitely a thing. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but okay, that was a thing. Moving on.
Everyone is strangely abuzz today. Is there a visiting minstrel or a mummer's troupe?
Haven't you heard, mister? A funny knight's been coming to town recently.
A funny night, hey?
Oh, yeah, he's super strong. He can carry all the blacksmith stuff by himself. And he got those guys who kept picking fights at the tavern to finally shut up. But he's also kind of weird, too. Like when you talk to him, sometimes he seems sheltered and obtuse, but then sometimes not.
This is a very verbose description for a kid. Who wrote this?
Why does that sound like... No, it couldn't be.
Yuri, what are you doing here?
What are you doing here, Dimitri?
I knew it.
I'm glad I ran into you. We have a broken wagon that needs fixing, and I could use a hand.
I can't believe you. Come with me a second.
Wait, what?
Are you an idiot? What are you doing here?
I had some time on my hands and thought I'd see how things are going in town.
Then stick to the more upscale streets. This alley is dangerous. It's not quite a full-blown slum, but money is still in pretty short supply. What are we supposed to do if someone introduces our king to a nice pointy knife while he's out wandering the streets? By himself, might I add.
How am I supposed to learn what it means to be a commoner without using my own eyes? All I ever see from my throne are the upscale streets, as you call them. And yes, I could send someone here in my stead, but there is no substitute for first-hand experience.
You know you don't have an heir, right? If you die, the entire region gets thrown into a bloody civil war over who gets to succeed you. Lots of nobles will die, but the commoners? The commoners will be absolutely slaughtered.
That's not gonna stop Dimitri anyway.
Right now, people seem to like you, so it's in all of our interest that you live a long and healthy life. Got it? And if you insist on coming here, at least bring that giant oaf of yours along to watch your back.
Oh, Dimitri's gonna take offense at that description.
Perhaps I was being a bit reckless.
Wait, you're not gonna tell him off? What?
It's good to know that even a fool like you can see reason on occasion.
In that case, might I ask you to act as my bodyguard today? I'm certain you're more than up to the task.
What?
If I could get a look at this town through your eyes, I think I could learn many valuable lessons.
You know his reputation, right, Dimitri? Is that a good idea?
Besides, if I ask to do, he'll surely forbid me from coming here at all. I would be grateful if you would consent to doing this favor for me.
Oh, this is rich. A king asking me for help. Fine. In that case, your majesty. I will do all in my power to safeguard your royal person. Happy?
What's with all the sass, though? Why do you find that so amusing? What, do you just have you not interacted enough with Dimitri to know that he's being earnest when he says stuff like that? Actually, you know what? That may actually legitimately be the reason. Alright, what do you have? Okay, one for Catherine, one for Ingrid. Alrighty, let's keep it moving.
Ingrid, I have brought sustenance.
You have to say it so cold. Well, do you have to use such a cold word for it? Oh well.
Oh, thank you, Dedu. These look wonderful. Your timing is impeccable. I was just about to wrap this up.
Writing reports?
Yes, I was summing up the results from our most recent battle in the Dusker region. It was a dreadful fight. It will be quite some time still before the situation in Dusker stabilizes. Obviously, I'm glad those involved in the tragedy were captured in the end, but...
But like any other region, Dusker is home to all kinds of people. Some good, some bad.
Exactly. The kingdom is no different. We may have our fair share of villains, but we should not be blaming innocent people for the actions of the bad ones.
It's human nature to generalize. I'd be lying if I claimed to hold no hatred towards Fargus for the devastation it brought to my home. But I've come to meet many kinds of people as I've lived here with His Majesty. Some hurled stones and insults, not only at me, but at His Majesty as well. Yet some remained kind to me, despite my heritage.
I guess I never really had to think about it like that. Honestly, Dedu, if not for you, I would have gone on stubbornly hating and fearing everyone from Dusker, no matter how much His Majesty insisted on their innocence.
But you did meet me, and now you have taken the first step toward change. It may not be my place, but I find that willingness to change admirable.
I am wholly undeserving of such praise. I still have a long way to go. But enough of this. After I am finished here, maybe we could grab a bite together in town.
Sure.
The other day, His Majesty introduced me to an inn that serves the most excellent food.
Oh, now you're back to your old self. Here we go.
It is actually owned by someone from Dusker. I was amazed how much I enjoyed everything. I would love to take you there.
Ingrid.
Huh?
Yes? I am sorry, are you not interested? Or do you have other plans?
Nothing like that. You said His Majesty brought you there.
Oh no. Oh no, oh no, oh no.
Well, yes. He seemed quite familiar with the owner.
Oh no.
I see. Call for me when you're ready. Right now, I must find His Majesty and remind him not to be so cavalier in his movements, even with you at his side.
Oh no.
Oh dear. Perhaps I should not have mentioned that part.
I don't know if you really could have explained it or not, but, well, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Dimitri's gonna just brush it off anyway. Because he always brushes everything off when it comes to his own safety. So what do you two have to talk about? What was with that? Why would... I have questions.
Oh, Dedu. Must be my lucky day if I'm running into you here. Hey, what's with the scowl? Do we have a problem?
All the residents in this town are people of Dusker. It may be within the kingdom, but it holds neither monastery nor church. What is your reason for coming here?
What's with the hostility?
Wait, Dimitri and Lady Rhea didn't tell you?
They did not.
I know everyone's been busy, but that's unacceptable. Well, there was a major fire here, right? Lady Rhea asked us to come help rebuild. We brought rations, too. Never hurts to have a little more food in your stores. So relax, please. I swear on the goddess herself that we don't intend to harm any of you.
I don't know if that swear really means anything to Dedu, though.
I did ask His Majesty to spare some aid in rebuilding the town, but I did not expect the task to fall to you.
What kind of church are we if we don't help those in need? Besides, we owe Fargus quite the debt. You guys took us in. even going as far as to start a war with the Empire in the process. This is the least we can do to return the favor.
Surely the Knights of Seros have long since repaid their debts on the battlefield.
Maybe the knights have, but the monks and scholars won't let us hear the end of it if we don't let them pitch in too. So when Lady Rhea heard about the fire, she apparently jumped at the chance to help.
Is that so?
I know the people of Dusker will have their concerns, since they're not followers of Seros. But it'll all be fine. And we can't just sit around twiddling our thumbs while people out there desperately need help, can we? At least, that's how all of us who follow the teachings of Lady Rhea view it. You're free to supervise if you still don't trust us.
No. You seem to be speaking the truth. His Majesty has expressed similar sentiments in the past. I believe your desire to help is sincere.
Thanks, Dedu. I was starting to think you were about to tell us to pack up and go home.
What would you have done if he did that?
Well, now that we're all square on that front, point us toward what needs the most help. We'll do manual labor, planning, you name it.
In that case, I'd ask that you clear away the burnt wood and help distribute food to the townsfolk. I will explain to everyone what you're doing here.
Yes, that's probably for the best. I'm sure they'll be much more willing to listen to you. Anyway, we'd better get to work.
No comment from you, Dedu? Alright then. I suppose we'll hear more about that later, perhaps. Or at least hear how the two of them interact with each other. Okay, leave this one to worry about for Felix. Oh man, I've got a ways to go with you, Felix. It's gonna take a bit, isn't it? Knowing my luck, probably.
There you are, Felix. Why didn't you tell me?
Tell what?
Tell you what?
About the fight you got into the other day with those soldiers.
Oh, that. Don't worry, I won't do it again.
One of my men told me the whole story of what actually went down. Apparently, one of your soldiers was mocking the heir of House Gautier, who just so happens to be me. Then he started getting into it with everyone else, which is when you decided to jump in.
Worst decision of my life. But like I said, I'm done with all that. I only stepped in because I thought it was my responsibility to make my men see sense. But my fists tend to move faster than my brain, as I'm sure you know.
I'm very well aware. Still, I'm curious why you didn't tell me everything right away.
Because he said some really nasty stuff about you. I didn't want your delicate ears dropping off in horror.
He's probably heard it all from Ingrid. You don't have to hold back.
Okay, now I'm even more curious. Anyway, sorry for tearing into you without knowing the full story.
No, I'm the one who should apologize. I can't let personal life influence business, even if it does concern you.
You shouldn't worry about it. People speaking poorly about me is something of a regular occurrence.
Precisely.
And honestly, I deserve every last bit of it. I was a real scoundrel in my younger days. Caused a whole lot of people a whole lot of headaches. That kind of talk isn't your fault or your soldier's fault. The blame lies squarely with the man I used to be.
So, why didn't you do something about that man when you were younger?
Alright, now we're back to normal Felix. Excellent.
It was just... I had to be that way, you know? I had to play the part of the flippant, carefree rogue because... Anyway, look, I know I'm a real piece of work, but that's just me being me.
Fine. Perhaps you do deserve to be made fun of. But I still won't stand it coming from a bunch of curs who don't know a single thing about you. You may not have the title of Margrave yet, but you still make yourself pretty useful.
Who are you and what have you done with Felix?
I've seen how you've helped the boar, and I guess you helped me too.
Why are you blushing?
Wow, Felix, that's... Wow. Oh boy, I think someone's cutting onions in here.
Be quiet. Can't you listen to someone for 2 seconds without opening your fat mouth and completely ruining the moment?
Ah, that's better.
You always have been too smart and too loud for your own good. Even if no one can match you in military tactics or domestic affairs. It's like you said, we've got problems piling up both inside and out of the kingdom. But with you around, we might just be able to see our way clear of it.
That's a lot of problems to pile on one person. Especially when he isn't half as great as you're implying.
I mean, I might be, say, 7% more cunning than you, but that's pretty much it.
That seems like an arbitrary cutoff point, and Felix is probably gonna disagree even if he doesn't say it.
If we really want to be useful to Fargus and Dimitri, we need to work together, so we can balance out each other's weaknesses.
I suppose that's true. In which case, I guess I'm counting on you. I may even need you. Maybe.
Who are you and what have you done with Felix? Stop this.
Besides, I'd be stuck with nothing but miserably dour folks without you around. I'm not sure I could handle it.
You don't have to tell me twice, old friend. I'll always be there for you. I promise.
No pressure then. No pressure whatsoever bloody ever. Alright, so what's this conversation? Let's see to this one first. Why not? How's this wrap up?
We lost him. Split up and search, boys. Don't let him get away.
So who's being pursued, Ash or Yuri?
They really are a persistent pack of scoundrels.
Someone shot me!
Yuri, over here! Oh, I think we're good. They won't chase us this far. Looks like I was just in time. Are you hurt?
So long as my face is fine, the rest of me doesn't matter. That's the real moneymaker, you know. And I appreciate the save, by the way.
You never change. Anyway, care to tell me why those thugs were after you?
Oh, just a little disagreement among businessmen. Happens all the time.
Does it always get violent, though?
This is exactly why I said you had to find a different way to make money.
If you're going to lecture me, I'd prefer the arrow you gave my friend back there. Also, if you disagree with my methods, why save me in the first place? You could have left me to reap the consequences of my actions and had one less villain in the world.
I'm not lecturing you because I think you're a villain. I've no right to call you evil anyway. I just don't want to see you endanger yourself.
Sometimes the only way to get anything done is by putting yourself in harm's way. You should know. Or I suppose you wouldn't. What with your being an upstanding knight and all now.
Trust me, I know. I can't forget the past no matter how hard I try. But I still think what you're doing is wrong. Not only are you hurting other people, you're disregarding your own well-being.
I chose this life of my own accord, and I take pride in what I do. If I get hurt in the process, that's just part of the deal. And if I'm caught and the townspeople hurl stones and fruit as I march to my execution, I'll still die with a smile on my face because...
Okay, enough! This is the reason why I can't keep letting you do this!
Where's this gonna go?
You want to protect the people important to you, right? Well, I want to make sure you don't end up dead and covered in rotting fruit! So if you still insist on being a reckless fool, I'm going to protect you anyway!
Even though it means siding with a filthy villain?
I'm not about to help you commit crimes. And if it looks like you're going to hurt someone, I'll do everything in my power to stop you. I just want to save my friend, okay?
I truly don't get you sometimes. Also, can't believe I'm going to fall for a cornball line like that.
Oh, that delivery was perfect.
Did you say something, Yuri?
Nothing. Forget it.
Well then. Also, I really need to check the audio balance on this game. Is there a way to boost the voice volume on this? It's been unusually quiet lately. Maybe it's just with... We'll probably just knock everything down a couple pegs. Yeah, that should be fine. Just knock down the music volume a little bit. That should be fine. Shouldn't affect things too much. Weird that... Seems oddly arbitrary to use 14 as your maximum level, though. Hang on, can it actually be messed with any further than that? No? Okay then. That is bizarre. I don't know. I did have to reinstall Windows recently, so maybe it's just... I need to adjust my audio drivers or audio settings, but still. We carry on. What's this one about?
Hey Ash, listen to this!
What's got you so excited, Annette?
Remember Odette, the flower peddler we taught how to read and write? Well, apparently, the School of Sorcery thought she had talent, and they accepted her as a student.
Wow, that's impressive. The School of Sorcery isn't easy to get into.
Right? I'm so glad we took the time to teach everyone.
It's strange to think that someone I helped is going to study under those teachers. Strange, but also great.
Speaking of the teachers, there's something I need to tell you.
Oh?
I had another reason for wanting to help you instruct the villagers.
Oh? What's that?
When I was younger, I wanted to be a teacher at the School of Sorcery. It didn't even have to be that school necessarily. I just wanted to make a living as an instructor somewhere. I told Dimitri about it once, but I really wanted to teach magic to kids who struggled with it. And when I started teaching some of the townspeople here with you, it was so much fun.
You did seem to be enjoying yourself.
I know, right? My favorite part was when someone would have that aha moment and their face would just light up. It really made all the time I'd spent studying feel worth it.
You're a great teacher, Annette. I think it's your calling, honestly.
Besides the songs? Actually, no reason why you can't pursue both.
I've never seen anyone so patient with people when they're struggling to understand. If you ask me, you should become a full-fledged professor. I'd love to study under an instructor like you.
Oh gosh, you're making me blush. But if you really think that, then I'm gonna go for it. But that means I need to hit the books. Oh, and probably chat with some of the teachers at the School of Sorcery.
If there's anything I can do to help, just let me know.
No way, mister. You have your own dream to pursue. I mean, you want to become a world-renowned knight, right?
Well, sure. But you've helped me so much, I feel like I need to return the favor. Besides, you're a citizen of Fargus, and it's a knight's job to help the people.
I love how focused you are on that dream. It's almost silly, because you're already the greatest knight I know.
Ingrid listening into this. Am I a joke to you?
Okay, I'm off to borrow some books from the capital. But maybe I'll ask for your help after that. Oh, and if we ever get the chance, I'd love to visit Garrick Mock's library. If you wouldn't mind going with me, that is.
You can count on me.
Thanks. Just you watch, Ash. I'll be a real professor before you know it.
Now, where was this in Three Houses? Yeah, well. Still amusing. Okay, then... okay, 2 of the side conversations. Excellent. Okay, so... if I remember correctly, this one was trying to figure out the origin of a painting of sorts, so I wonder if Ignatz was able to find anything, or if this is just a different appraisal.
Hey, Ignatz. How goes the research?
I've actually learned a fair number of things about your painting. Based on the canvas and pigments, I've managed to narrow down the era when it was made. I believe it to be from roughly 200 years ago, around the time the Officers' Academy was founded at the monastery.
Wow, I'm impressed you can nail it down that specifically. I knew you'd come through for me.
Well, the vivid blue pigment of her clothes is very distinctive. It's a rare kind of Almyran paint made from crushed gemstones, and it only came to Fodlan 2 centuries ago, after Almyra invaded.
Which means the painting can't be any older than that, yeah?
Exactly. Oh, and the material used for the canvas is... well, if I went into every detail, we'd be here all day.
I'm pretty sure Sylvain would welcome that.
Well, what about you, Sylvain? Did you learn anything? I heard you were trying to track down some books in the capital.
Yeah, I read up on the saints. Turns out birds are definitely one of St. Macuel's things. But I also found a weird story about an archbishop from 2 centuries ago.
There were other archbishops besides Rhea?
I'm guessing her reign got cut short due to illness, because I didn't recognize the name at all. Anyway, on the day she died, white birds apparently flocked to the monastery and started mourning.
If that took place 2 centuries ago, she might be the person in this painting.
Yeah, it all seems too connected to be a coincidence.
Huh, interesting. So, if she was an archbishop, then that probably means that probably has some connection to Rhea then, even if it's not Rhea herself.
Still, her clothes seem rather plain for an archbishop of the time.
Yeah, I wonder why. They were usually into fancy robes and big hats and all that.
Maybe it's more of a symbolic representation than an actual portrait. It could be designed to show how she was humble and supportive of the poor and downtrodden. Or perhaps she just wanted to be represented without all the trappings of her office. Of course, I'm just guessing here. I have no actual proof of anything.
Hey, I'm spitballing too. I mean, I don't even know for sure that she was an archbishop. Still, is it just me, or does she look a lot like Lady Rhea?
Oh, wait a minute, is it actually Lady Rhea? What?
Well, yes, I suppose she does. But that has to be a coincidence, right?
Wait, is that how Rhea maintains the big lie that she effectively just fakes her own death every now and then? Just, what, is that how that works?
The position of Archbishop isn't hereditary, and I doubt they could be related in any way.
Yeah, you're right. Probably just the overall ambiance that makes them seem similar. Anyway, who knew I'd find something like this hiding in my house? Pretty crazy, huh? I'm really glad I showed you. Not knowing would have probably bugged me for the rest of my life otherwise.
No, thank you. I'm truly glad to have come across this piece. Both because I got to know a stunning work of art and because I learned more about you in the process. You're much easier to talk to than I imagined, and quite a bit more interesting as well.
Glad we could clear up that little misunderstanding, because I'm all about making new friends.
I feel just the same.
Alrighty. That's a nice bookend to that. Alrighty. So, how's this gonna play out?
Alright, that should do it. Sorry for pulling you into this, Sylvain.
Hey, I'm the one who should be apologizing. I can't believe I didn't pick up on the fact we had spies in our midst.
Oh, I'm just especially attuned to sensing such people. What with my line of work and all. They seemed quite adept. Save for the fact they were just as poor at hiding their hostility as you.
Or maybe you're just way too perceptive.
Merely years of practice, I assure you. Still, I was surprised to see how eagerly you set about clearing those spies from our midst.
Are you surprised, though? You've talked about the open hostility from Sylvain already.
Never thought I'd meet someone who'd jump at an invitation to purge spies as readily as he would a lunch date with a pretty woman.
Jeez, tell us how you really feel.
Well, time is of the essence with this kind of stuff, and Dimitri surely won't mind that we only let him know after the fact. We have to win this war, and nothing loses a war faster than a leaky ship.
Yet even superior intelligence can be overturned by brute force. Take Aryan Road, for example. I was so certain we had achieved total victory, and then...
Yeah, that was a hard-won battle. We'd never have made it without my brother in the Knights. Speaking of which, it's still a little weird to trust my back to a guy who was so recently trying to jam a sword into it.
I understand your qualms. In fact, I'm surprised you never hunted me down yourself to seek revenge for your brother's death.
It's all water under the bridge if you joining helps us win this war. I just didn't know if I could trust you at first.
And now? Have I proven worthy of that trust?
Certainly. Your perceptiveness really saved our tails this time. But don't forget that I'm sworn to protect this place. And you know exactly what'll happen if you decide to switch sides.
You're actually quite the loyalist beneath all that flippancy. I admire such sensibility, believe it or not. But you may rest easy. I have no intentions of betraying you. In fact, I look forward to a lasting friendship with the future Margrave.
I'd like that. And I kind of appreciate how you see right through me. Saves me the trouble of trying to beat around the bush, you know?
It sounds as if we forged a mutual respect. Perhaps I might even agree to go out with you sometime.
Wait, where's this coming from?
So long as you don't use any more of your awful pickup lines from the first time we met.
Wait, what?
Oh, how did that one go again? Ah, yes.
Wait, what?
Hello there, my adorable little chickadee. Care to let this rooster into the hen house?
The what?
Look, I already apologized for mistaking you for a girl, so you can quit bringing it up now.
Okay, I'm confused now.
And give up such an embarrassing tidbit on the next Margrave Gautier? Never!
Oh boy, is that all this is? To be fair, I've seen people try and extrapolate it into more than that, and you could theoretically read something more to it, but I'm not convinced it is anything more than that, because Sylvain was just Sylvain back in the day, right?
Besides, I never asked you to apologize. You are not the first to make that error, nor will you be the last. And frankly, a date with you would likely prove a very interesting experience. There's no better way to secure one's future than by attaching oneself to a dashing Margrave to be, after all.
Oh boy.
Whoa, you just put my chickadee line to shame. Is it weird that I'm kinda into it?
Oh crap, okay, now I'm seeing it.
Take note, Sylvain. This is how it's done.
I think I'm at least starting to get how you've risen so far so fast. I'm definitely glad you're on our side. Anyway, here's to seeing where the future takes us.
Yeah, now I see it. Okay, yep, okay, that makes sense. Although, to be fair, if Sylvain is able to put into practice what he wishes to with the Shrang region, hereditary nonsense wouldn't necessarily come into play, so it's... Actually, that's probably more the reason why the Empire is overrepresented in that direction anyway, because they probably can afford to be a little more lackadaisical with it, because they don't have Elmira or Sreng knocking down their door every half a second. Either way, carrying on. I don't have to worry about bloodlines as much. Unless those who slither in the dark make
Good
him.
day to you.
So what's this one about?
Hey, Lawrence. Did you need something?
Yes, there is something I simply had to tell you.
If this is a repeat of the Ferdinand and Petra support, I'm out.
Please don't say you want to ask me out.
Perish the thought.
What?
I merely wanted to praise you for your diligence, as it has clearly been paying off.
Perish the thought. I feel like Annette's gonna be insulted by that.
Thanks, I guess. What's all this about?
I have borne witness to your magnificent exploits, both on and off the battlefield. Such achievements could only be possible through tireless effort. That kind of brilliance is impressive, no matter if you're a noble or a common lass of the lowest birth. Is something the matter? You look like a pigeon that's just been struck in the face with wind magic.
How would you know what that looks like?
It just came out of the blue is all. I wasn't really expecting you to compliment me.
But I am wounded. Is receiving a compliment from me truly so shocking?
No, well, I feel like her first thought is, hang on, okay, what do you want? Because you are a noble who is seeking, well, a hand to marry, so I feel like that would be a reasonable question to be concerned about.
I merely wanted to express my heartfelt admiration, not least of all because of the misunderstanding which has long stood between us. I thought it best to speak my mind before fate's fickle hand separates us yet again.
You are so odd sometimes.
And now you laugh at me. Might I inquire as to why? I see nothing odd about praising a dear colleague.
Sorry. I'm sorry. It just hit me that you're actually totally sincere about all this.
Had that not been apparent? How could I be anything less than sincere in my desire to mend our previously strained relationship?
Well, I'm glad you appreciate all of my efforts, Lawrence. I really am. Because when you called me a child back then, it felt like you were dismissing all the hard work it took to make it into the School of Sorcery. I think some part of me has wanted to win your approval ever since. So it feels great to finally have it happen. You're a better judge of character than I gave you credit for, Lawrence.
Are you sure about that? I mean, have you seen... You know what, with Claude, it's only half true.
Naturally. It is a noble's sacred duty to stand above others and correctly evaluate their worth, after all.
Well then, as something of a noble myself, I guess I could stand to learn more about that from you.
Oh no. Oh no. Sorry, the first thing that came to mind as soon as they heard that was the Spider-Man meme. Well, I'm something of a scientist myself. Are you now, Annette?
That would be splendid! Well then, from one noble to another, perhaps you might join me for a meal so we might discuss issues of...
Let's not. I wouldn't want to spoil my newfound appreciation for you.
Is that so? How unfortunate. Perhaps some other...
Woo! Look at the time. I better get going. I need to do something with all this extra motivation.
Good call.
Well, no matter. I need only follow her example and work tirelessly toward my goal. For I, Lawrence Hellman Gloucester, must aspire to nothing less.
And now it ends as it always has to. Actually, how many other supports do I have to worry about in this route? Is Annette literally the only one? Annette is literally the only one. Okay. Good. Good. You annoy me. I understand why you are like the way you are. I just don't like you.
She's been flicking her tail a lot today. Does that mean she's happy?
No, she's just brushing off flies.
Oh, that makes sense. Also, I was thinking she was in a bad mood because she kept stomping her hoof.
That means she wants more hay, and higher quality feed if possible.
Where's this coming from, huh? You keep eating like this, you only have more weight to carry around. I've really been trying to figure out what she's thinking based on her behavior, but it's so hard. I'm impressed you manage it so easily.
Oh no, I'm not that impressive.
And then it's gonna cut to something else?
Marianne, perfect timing.
More problem with the horse?
My horse is refusing to move again, and I need to help an ally back on the battlefield. She doesn't seem scared like before, so I'm not sure what to do.
Okay, I'll talk to her.
Shh.
You're fine. You'll be alright.
Well, what did she say?
She doesn't want to take you to the battlefield because it's too dangerous. For you, I mean.
Is the horse that intelligent?
So that's what was troubling her. All right, I'll take it from here. There, girl. It's all right. Even if we're heading into danger, I'll be fine so long as I'm with you. Now lift your head and walk. One of our friends is waiting for us. Aw, thanks. I'm counting on you.
Thank goodness you got through.
I have been doing my best to learn how to connect with her, and it's clearly paying off. Though I'd never have understood her feelings without your insight.
But I didn't do anything.
Yes, you... How many times we're gonna have to go through this song and dance?
More importantly, you should hurry and help your friend.
I will. See you later.
Wait, Ingrid, I hope you come back safely. And then, when you do, maybe we can,
It's too late.
Oh, you want to go horseback riding together sometime? Of course. I'd love to have Dorte join us.
Oh, yes, actually. But how did you know?
When you spend enough time with a person, you start to pick up on what they're thinking through facial expressions and mannerisms. It's especially true of close friends. So I guess all my practice helped us as well.
Oh, Ingrid. I really admire how hard you work at everything you do. I hope you return safely. Dorte and I will be waiting for you.
We'll come back safe, Marianne. I promise.
Alrighty then. Relatively straightforward. Yep, don't need to worry too much more beyond that. Alright, that works. That indeed works. So what's this one about?
Dorothea, I have it!
You have what?
I have learned more about the story you mentioned the other day. The one regarding the song that ended a war.
That's incredible. How did you manage it? I've been asking around myself, but I haven't learned a thing.
Did Sedith know something?
I actually asked my brother.
Sedith knew something.
Or, to be more specific, I just so happened to stumble across it in one of his books.
Uh-huh.
I see. And what did it say?
It is the story of a woman who ended a war with a song. This took place a short while after the Empire emerged victorious from the War of Heroes. The brother of an imperial noble started a conflict regarding the succession of their territory. It was a minor struggle at first, but gradually the other neighboring lords became caught up as well. It became quite the event. One thing spiraled into another, and soon they were on the cusp of a war that threatened to splinter the very empire itself.
Nobles are always like that, no matter the era.
Of course, that's what you'd assume about this.
At the time, one woman was very worried about the state of affairs. A childhood friend of the two brothers on opposite sides of the struggle.
Oh, now that's a development right out of the storybooks.
She made her way to the battlefield, which was on the brink of exploding into violence, stood between the two armies, and began to sing. She filled her every word with the hope that the brothers would not be driven to fight. And it went like this. I remember with fondness days long past with those I love. With warmth in my heart I think of them and sing to the stars up above. Hands once linked now carry swords, filled with rage and bloody, and with their smiles forgotten, they seek the sweet release of death.
Bit of an unusual rhythm to it, but I'll go for it.
The sound
of her voice in song moved not only the hearts of the two brothers, but of their armies as well. Soon, they all dispersed and returned to their homes. Having settled their differences, the brothers petitioned the Emperor to change their territories. So that there would be no lingering grudge, they asked to be given lands at the east and west ends of the Empire, with the capital betwixt. And that is the tale of how House Fenya and House Menya came to be.
Wait, those two houses specifically?
You know, I just realized something. The name of the Middle Franc Opera Company means Friendship at the Center. It's taken from a festival of singing and dancing that was held in the capital long ago in the hopes of fostering peace. Maybe the origins of this festival are found in the story you just told me.
Do you truly think so?
Noble houses divided with the capital between them? Singing and dancing in the center for peace? I don't think it's a coincidence.
That actually is a possibility given, well, Flame would have, well, actually, would Sedith properly know? Would he be around to know, though? I guess that would be the next question, because if Flame's not around, would Sedith know? Maybe there'd be a story that Rhea would tell Elle at some point, but hard to know for certain. Still.
Now that you say it, I find I must agree. Which would mean that you, Dorothea, diva of the Middle Franc Opera Company, might use your talent to bring about the end of war. That would be quite something were it to come to pass.
I wonder. But let's put old tales aside for now and continue our lessons, shall we? Perhaps if we pray and sing for peace, happiness really will find us all.
Alrighty then. Unfortunately for this route, we still got to engage in the violence, but, well, here we are anyway.
What do you want, Cheeto? Yes, you are adorable. You have anything to say to the people at home? No, you probably just went out.
Well, I've got one more support, then we can go do something, okay, Cheeto? Let's go.
Yuri, may I have a word with you?
Okay, nothing that I can glean from your voice so far.
Sedith, did you need something? If you want to talk business, we can go somewhere more private.
No, it is nothing of the sort. I happened to see you speaking with a scholar earlier. I'm curious as to the nature of your conversation. You seemed quite absorbed.
Oh, so you saw that, did you? Well, I suppose you would be familiar with the topic.
Would he?
I was trying to learn a little about the legend of the 10 elites.
That is rather diligent of you. I'm impressed.
Nothing diligent about it. I just didn't quite receive the same education as my noble peers. It's said that the goddess granted the 10 elites power in the form of crests, allowing them to defeat the evil that threatened Fodlan. That power freed them from the ravages of age, and even saved them from the brink of death.
So the legend goes. It is also said that some crest bearers live much longer than those without.
And we know that for a fact based on what we heard from Geralt in a different route.
There is even a theory which posits that Nemesis, the King of Liberation, lived for several centuries.
Is that so?
I do wonder, however, why such a subject would interest you.
Well, I suppose I can trust you. The truth is, I wanted to figure out who exactly I am. Given your position, I'm sure you know of the crest I bear.
Indeed I do. I must admit, its discovery upon your enrollment at the Officers' Academy came as quite a surprise. After all, you bear the crest of Oban, which was thought to have been lost long ago.
An exceedingly rare crest. Yet I have no idea where it came from. My mother's status being what it is, I don't have the slightest clue who my father is or where he was from. I'd never once doubted that I was my mother's son. But then I found out about my crest. It's made me question everything I've ever known about myself.
I see. So you yourself do not know the origin of your crest?
But then I'd heard the 10 elites weren't born with their crests. So I figured that would be a good place to start digging.
No matter the nature of your crest, I'm certain it was bestowed upon you by the will of the goddess. Do not resent the power that dwells within your blood. Cherish it, and you shall find your way.
You sound just like the scriptures. But I appreciate the encouragement. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some business to attend to.
This is gonna have you questioning things because, well, you gave the Well, you gave the proper response, but you know how it's well, you know about, well, I'm assuming you know about the blood transfusion aspect, and you would have had to have known based on how the 10 elites came to be and everything else that's happened, especially with Rhea's elites, well, elite knights as well, given Gerald, but I'll be very curious to see what their aid support looks like. I'll be very curious to see what their aid support looks like. Still, that is the end of them, and the cheetah was demanding attention, so that is where I will end it. Besides, I gotta stream in about an hour and a couple hours as well, so that'll be all from me for this one. Next time we jump in, it's back to fighting the Empire. So, we'll see how that goes.